Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to everyone. Myself, V. John Reddy, working as an assistant professor, the Department of Physics from Nalla Narasimha Reddy Engineering College. Today we are going to discuss about a small topic regarding small and very important topic, that is Hall effect. Okay, now today's class we are going to learn about the what is the Hall effect, what is the applications of Hall effect, what is the necessity to learn the Hall effect. Okay, Hall effect. When a material carrying current is subjected to a magnetic field in a direction perpendicular to the direction of current, the electric field is developed in a direction perpendicular to both the direction of magnetic field and current. This phenomena is called Hall effect, and the generated voltage is called Hall voltage. Hall effect means here we are taking a one material carrying which is carrying current. This current carrying material is placed in the magnetic field which is perpendicular to the direction of the current. Here the direction of the current and direction of magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other. Due to this one, some energy force is generated perpendicular to these two fields. That is we are called the some field is generated, electric field is generated. That field is we are called the Hall field, a Hall effect. That phenomena is we are called the Hall effect, and the voltage developed across this one is we are called the Hall voltage. Okay. Next, it was generally believed that the critical current in the solids is due to the flow of only electrons, but in the semiconductors, the external effect of the current is due to the currents of both the negative and positive charge carriers inside the solid. Okay, here we know that in the conductors we can say that the current carrying through only electrons, but in the case of semiconductors we cannot say that is the current passing through only either the electrons or the holes, either positive charges or negative charges. That clarification is given by the Hall effect. Okay, it is not possible to assert the sign of the charge from the direction of current because it is the same whether the positive charges flow in that direction or negative charges flow in the opposite direction. Hall effect is discovered by E. H. Hall in 1879, helps to resolve the dilemma in the sign of charges. Before Hall, everyone, there is a dilemma of the sign of the charges, which charge carriers is traveling one end to other end, and in which direction the charge carriers is flowing. But that doubt is clarified by the Hall in the year of 1879. When a moving charge is subjected to the influence of the magnetic field, it experiences a force called Lorentz force. If any moving charge is subjected to influence of placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. That force is we are called the Lorentz force. The next, Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, Fleming's left hand rule. It states that if the first three fingers of the left hand are stretched mutually perpendicular to each other in such a way that the forefinger is along the magnetic field, forefinger indicates the magnetic field, and middle finger is along the current field. Means middle finger is, you assume that is a electric field direction or current direction, and then the direction to which thumb is pointing indicates the direction in which charge experience thrust. Okay, this is a Fleming's left hand principle. Next, here we are considering one semiconductor material. Here I am taking the one semiconducting specimen. This is a semiconducting specimen with some length and width and thickness. Okay, consider a semiconducting specimen or a metallic specimen carrying current along the x direction. In this direction, in this x direction, this is the x direction is the current direction, and let us the specimen be subjected to magnetic field along the z direction. The magnetic field B direction is magnetic field direction. This is a z direction. In this direction, here x and z both are mutually perpendicular to each other. This is the current flow is Ix and magnetic field is B, and here is this is a length, and this is a width, and this is a thickness. Okay, this is a semiconductor. This field applied to current and magnetic field perpendicularly in a Hall effect. Okay, due to these two, here some charges are produced. This is for some force is experienced on the charges, and due to that forces, if that is a negative charge, that is goes to bottom side, and if it is a positive charge, that is goes to upside, the phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, if the specimen is a metal, since it has only one type of charge carriers, that is electrons, the electrons are forced down to the bottom surface. Okay, therefore the bottom surface becomes more negative compared to the upper surface, hence a potential difference is developed between the bottom and upper surfaces. Due to this one, if all the electrons is moved to phase 1, the bottom side, and top side there is no electrons, there is a potential difference between these two phases. Due to this potential difference, some voltage is developed. That voltage is we are called the Hall voltage. Next, if the specimen is an N type of semiconductor, since the electrons are majority charge carriers, they are forced down into the bottom surface. Therefore, the upper surface becomes positive, whereas the bottom surface becomes negative. In p-type semiconductor, the bottom surface is occupied by the holes, and it becomes more positively compared to the upper surface. The potential difference between the upper and lower surfaces is known as Hall voltage. Next, expression for Hall coefficient. The Hall coefficient is represented by RH. Coefficient is RH is inversely proportional to the charge concentration and is negative for N-type semiconductors and positive for P-type semiconductors. RH is negative for N-type semiconductors and RH is positive for P-type semiconductors. And here we have taken RH equals to 1 by PE, that is for P-type semiconductors. RH equals to minus 1 by Ne, that is for N-type semiconductors, where small p and small n represents the carrier concentration in P and N-type semiconductors respectively. This is the RH. Next, if a magnetic field B is applied to a specimen carrying current I and a Hall voltage VH is developed across it, then the Hall coefficient is given by RH equals to VHT by Bi, where T is the thickness, B is the magnetic field, and I is current. Next, coming to this, the most important one, the applications of Hall effect. With the Hall effect, we determine the type of semiconductors. Suppose if you give any specimen to us, we don't know, by physically we cannot observe that, we cannot measure that is a p-type semiconductor, n-type semiconductor. That is, we can say that based on the Hall coefficient, we can say that if RH is positive, we can say that is a p-type. This negative, RH is negative, we can say that there is a n-type. Okay, determination of type of semiconductor, this is the most important one. The next, calculation of carrier concentration. Once Hall effect is measured, the carrier concentration can be obtained. Carrier concentration can be obtained from that one. RH equals to 1 by Ne. Suppose if we don't know the carrier concentration of the semiconductor material, by doing the experiment, by using this formula, first we calculate the RH value. RH equals to VHT by Bi. We know the Hall voltage, We know the thickness of specimen, and we know the magnetic field, and we know the electric field, current value. We know the magnetic value, current value, we know the VH value and T value. Then we find out the RH value. With the help of this RH, we are going to calculate the carrier concentration. Either if it is a negative, that is we consider the n type of semiconductor and we calculate the electron density concentration, or if it is a positive, we are going to calculate the whole carrier concentration. Next, determination of mobility of charge carriers. We know that the electric conductivity is sigma n equals to, for n-type semiconductors, Ne mu e, where mu e is a mobility of electrons. Okay, mu e equals to sigma n by Ne. 1 by Ne is RH, sigma n into RH. Sigma p equals to Pe mu p for p-type semiconductors. Mu p equals to sigma p by Pe. This equals to sigma p by sigma p into RH. Therefore, after measuring the Hall coefficient and electrical conductivity and mobility mu can be calculated. The next one is measurement of flux density using a semiconductor. A sample of known Hall coefficient. If we know the Hall coefficient value, then we can find out the magnetic flux density, that is B. We can find out the B also. Sample of known Hall coefficient, the magnetic flux density can be deduced from the formula B equals to VHT by IRH. This is the Hall coefficient, Hall experiment, or we can call the Hall effect. In this one, we have the most important one, applications. With the help of Hall effect, we can find out the determination of the type of semiconductor, which type of semiconductor, that's either N or P. We can calculate the carrier concentration, and we can determine the mobility of charge carriers, and we can measure the flux density as well as the current also. Okay.